Next, viewers, we're getting some very important breaking developments as far as the Ukrainian crisis is concerned now that Ukraine has called for a fast-track trial on Russian invasion from the International Court of Justice. And now we're being told from our sources that, in fact, Ukraine has officially filed a lawsuit against Russia in the UN International Court of Justice in The Hague. And they have claimed that they demand Russia to be held accountable for distorting the concept of genocide to justify aggression. And they have stated that they ask the court to immediately order Russia to cease hostilities and schedule a hearing next week. Now, viewers, this is a very, very important development that we have seen where the Ukraine has approached the International Court of Justice that has, in fact, jurisdiction over such kind of war crimes. And whenever a country tries to threaten the sovereignty of the land as well, we see this kind of an appeal that has been made by Ukraine to the International Court of Justice. We have seen from the very beginning, viewers, since the Russian escalation had taken place, that Ukraine had been appealing to the rest of the world to help them and to stand together against the aggressors, which is Russians. They had been appealing to the rest of the world, the Western world, to the US, specifically when the US had asked and offered to evacuate President Zelensky, where he had claimed that he does not need a ride but needs more ammunition. Really a tone that was set from Ukraine as well, that they're ready to fight the Russians, they're not backing down. There is in fact stiff resistance that is also seen on the ground. But now in the latest appeal that has been made to the International Court of Justice, the highest court of justice in the world, in fact in The Hague, where this appeal has been made for a fast-track trial against the Russians, Russia in fact, where they have claimed that Russia needs to be held accountable for their actions and trying to distort the concept of genocide and justifying aggression. Now, this is something that has been made as an appeal from Ukraine to the International Court of Justice, asking Russia to be held accountable for this escalation, for this invasion into Ukrainian border as well, and in fact has also appealed to the court for seeking a directive that Russia be told to immediately cease hostilities and schedule a hearing next week as well. Since the very time, viewers, we saw this kind of an escalation that took place between Russia and Ukraine, there had been talks of in fact, Ukraine and Russia sitting down together to talk about this entire escalation and the invasion of the Russian troops into Ukrainian border. But even now, Ukraine had denied any kind of talks in Belarus, that being the latest, claiming that Belarus had been helping Russia in the Ukrainian invasion by the Russian troops. And now we see the highest court, in fact, of the world, where Ukraine has appealed for a directive to be told to Russia to stop the hostilities, to be told to Russia to, in fact, schedule a hearing, in fact, as soon as possible. And that is why now we see Ukraine, earlier that had been seen appealing to the world to stand with them together against Russia, has sought the International Court of Justice's intervention into the same.